Hi guys! Have you ever thought about if it's possible to propagate palm trees from seeds? Neither did I until this spring. This spring, when I really wanted to add 2 more palm trees in my backyard, I had a hard time finding one in our local nurseries. So I started searching whether it's possible to propagate palm trees, and for my zone I need 7A, 7B zone, I need windmill palm trees. So I did find out that it is possible, and the result is this spring I planted them and they all came out. So let me tell you how I did it and what was it about. So you see, this is the windmill palm tree, which blooms in the springtime. It makes bright yellow, produces big flowers, and then the flowers turn into these seeds. As you see, the green, it kind of looks like green peas. So those seeds, they eventually turn black. You're supposed to collect the seeds when they turn black, and so when you want to plant them, you need to soak those seeds in water for a couple of days, and then plant them in a pot an inch apart, and keep them either in a covered place, like covered with a plastic, or if you have like a green nursery, or just keep it somewhere on your deck. See, in this one pot, this was my trial, so I wasn't sure how it's gonna come out, but in this small pot I planted seeds like 1 inch apart, and I guess it was pretty successful because I see so many sprouts coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of them came out. So this was planted in the spring. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transplant them so they have more room to grow, because the roots they get pretty vigorous, and in the spring I probably will plant them already in the ground. So I was recently in South Carolina with my family, and when we went for a stroll, I saw so many palm trees, and on the bottom along the sidewalks there were so many seedlings. And of course, as a person who was trying to propagate palm trees from seeds, I realized how long does it take. It's not a quick process. So I got so excited and literally felt like a child who discovered a strawberry patch. And me and my children, we started pulling out from sidewalks all these seedlings. And look at that. These are some of the seedlings. Look at that. I mean, they grow like weeds in South Carolina, which was amazing to me. You know, we were collecting them and collecting them and collecting them. And the reason why is because I do like to have palm trees on my deck, in big planters as a centerpiece, inside the house. Who doesn't like palm trees, right? So these are South Carolina pindle palms, or they call them date palms. So I brought some, and today what I'm going to do, I'm going to plant these seedlings, these little sprouts, in bigger pots with better soil. Now, because this beauty is coming from South Carolina, I will have to be mindful of the soil, right? So what I'm doing today is I'm adding a little bit of drainage kind of material, gravel with some rough kind of bark, and I'm adding some soil, which is kind of already pre-mixed with sand. Because this baby is coming from South Carolina, where it was growing in a sandy soil, I want to add more sand to make it kind of to replicate the natural habitat, and make sure that it's happy and it's growing healthy. So I am just mixing up some, this was a potting soil. This was potting soil because I got one garden and one potting, but this one is potting soil. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go ahead and plant. So this is what I did earlier, 4 of those Pindle palms, and I hope that they will acclimate to Georgia, because it's pretty much like, I think about just a matter of 20 degrees, and maybe in the winter I will have to cover it, maybe with a plastic bag, or put it in the garage, or put it in the basement just for this winter until they really establish a strong root system. So I'm just gonna put maybe 4 in each pot, not to get them too overcrowded. So I planted this, and then I was thinking, since these palm trees are not gonna need a lot of water. They don't like too much water. They can handle the dry soil. I might as well just add a little bit of some of my succulents cuttings that I had, so the pot doesn't look too boring. So I had these cuttings. I'm just gonna remove the bottom leaves, and I'm just gonna stick them in here. Just for the look. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna put this all in the center. So it kind of gives a little elevation, a little height. And then on the sides, I will put just this little cuties. No, I need more. I think it's gonna sink too. All right, well, that's better. Okay, and for around it, I'll just put a little bit of gravel stones. Okay, so this one is ready. Also, another exciting thing I wanted to share with you. So we talked about the windmill palm, right? And we talked about the seedlings of the South Carolina Pindle palms. But also, I was very happy because we were successful to propagate a date palm. You see the date, the little date? That's actually those dates that we all love. Majnoon, majul, all kinds of dates. So this is a date, and this is another seedling that also came from that. So this is a date palm that was propagated from just the seed, and I'm going to plant that baby in a taller plant. I already put some draining, kind of like a gravel. Now I'm gonna do the same thing. I am going to mix up my topsoil with some sand. There was already a lot of sand, but I'm just gonna do more. And I think the sand is better for like things like cacti and succulents and pretty much a lot of tender seedlings or cuttings, because it's so tender on the root system, right? So they all grow happy. So what I'm gonna do with this now, the windmill, because it's cold resistant, I am going to go ahead and leave it for the whole winter outside, somewhere in the garden, where, you know, the rain and stuff can access it. Now the South Carolina pinda palms, I will have to bring inside because I want them to kind of develop a better root system before they can go into the harsh winters of Georgia, because we do get sometimes very low temperatures of what was it? It even went to 5 degrees, 10 degrees. So I'm adding I had some cuttings of, not cuttings, the little pops of blue agave. Hold on, I don't want the thingy to be there, but look at the root. This also we got as a cutting from South Carolina. I mean, you go on vacation and you see these things growing outside as like weeds, and you just feel like a child. Like I said, I literally felt like a child who found a strawberry patch on the road, and I couldn't just resist it. I had to get it to go home. So hopefully next year I will have a lot of young palm trees in my yard that I can either use on a deck, at the front porch, around the garden in big planters, like a centerpiece, until they actually mature to 3 to 5 gallon size of a plant to kind of survive the winters here. Okay, so I'm gonna need some cuttings to add here. That's another agave. Maybe I'll just keep all the agaves here to winter over. Okay. I will need to get some little rocks to kind of dress it up. Okay. So this was a date palm. Now, of course, I couldn't resist but buy another pinda palm for my collection, and I can't wait to plant it. Now, the only difference, I already did the video about how to plant a palm tree. You can look it up. The only difference will be with this one, because it did come from a South Carolina kind of environment. I will add more sand, and you can use a play sand, you can use construction sand, I don't know, by the river, beach, whatever type of sand you can find, you can use it more when you're planting your palm tree. And this should be resilient to our Georgia winter. I do have European fan palm that's in the pot, excuse me, that actually survived last year winter, and it's doing well. I'll show it to you later. So I do think it is possible to get all your palm trees acclimated to your area if you, I mean, I'm talking about Georgia. If you kind of mulch it over for winter or cover it up if it's really brutal winter or something, but that happens rarely. All right, that was it about the palm trees. I hope you find it useful, and I hope you learned something new today with me. I'm very excited. Try this out yourself. If you don't have seeds to collect in your own garden, I think you can get them on Etsy, maybe some other places too. Look for it, and if you are interested in experimenting, do that, and you'll be impressed with the result. See you next time. Bye. So I just dressed a little bit the pots. As you see, I planted in each pot, giving some space. But just for dressing and for the aesthetic look, I added a few cuttings of the succulents and leftover pebbles that I had at home. So these will go either in a garage or in a basement with a window, or you know, on a porch to winter over. And then in the spring, I will transplant them in a permanent home. All right, I hope you find this news as exciting as I do. Go ahead and start planting. You can even start planting now. So for the next year, you will already have your sprouts for your little palm trees.